Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into the world of international film and television today, uncovering the trends, the deals, and the challenges facing the industry.
Sounds intriguing. What's on the docket?
Well, we're taking our cues from Further and Better's TV, Film and Media Industry International News Roundup from February 18th, 2025.
So, a global snapshot of what's hot and what's not?
Precisely. We're talking a Spanish-German crime drama filmed in the Canary Islands.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, it's generating some buzz. And then we've got a Japanese documentary facing some serious distribution hurdles.
That always makes you wonder about the why, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Then we'll hop over to Hollywood to see how virtual pitches are changing the game.
Fascinating. The pandemic's legacy, I suppose.
It certainly seems to be. And just for fun, we'll touch on a viral sensation from Temptation Island, Spain.
Always up for a little reality TV drama.
Who isn't? Okay, let's start with Weiss Morales, the Spanish-German crime drama. Set in the Canary Islands, it features Miguel Ángel Silvestre and Katia Felon. But it's more than just a crime thriller. It weaves in these really interesting explorations of identity and masculinity.
I think that's where the magic of international collaborations lies. It's not just about the exotic locations, but blending those cultural perspectives to give us a richer, more nuanced story.
Couldn't agree more. Now, on a slightly more serious note, there's the Oscar-nominated documentary Black Box Diaries by Shiori. It's garnering international acclaim, but back home in Japan, not so much. It's facing significant resistance.
Understandably so, perhaps. The subject matter is sensitive, to say the least. It crosses pursuit of justice after an assault by a prominent journalist. That's bound to ruffle some feathers.
Definitely. And advocacy groups are petitioning Japanese distributors to screen it. Their argument: suppressing narratives like this perpetuates a culture of silence around sexual assault. It's a difficult conversation, no doubt.
Absolutely, but crucial nonetheless. Film has this incredible power to ignite these important discussions, to challenge the status quo.
It's a powerful tool, for sure. Switching gears now, let's head to Germany, where the film industry is facing some pre-election jitters ahead of the February 23rd vote.
Yeah, a lot is riding on this election. They were all set to overhaul the film funding system. Centralized system, 30% tax incentive, obligations for streamers to invest. Then, boom, the governing coalition collapses and everything's on hold.
A recipe for uncertainty, if there ever was one. And to add fuel to the fire, there are whispers of a potential far-right surge, which has people worried about the impact on diversity and sustainability initiatives.
It really highlights how intertwined politics and the arts are. A new government could drastically reshape what gets made and whose stories get told.
A pivotal moment for German cinema, that's for sure. Speaking of reaching audiences, let's talk about ZDF Studios and how they're using platforms like YouTube and TikTok. They're way ahead of the curve on this.
I've been impressed with their strategy, not just turning out short clips, but finding clever ways to leverage long-form content on these platforms. Lynette Zelich, their head of unscripted fast and D2C streaming, have been vocal about adapting those traditional TV models for the digital age, and it seems to be working. 73% of YouTube's viewership now consumes long-form content.
Wow, that's a game changer. They're proving that good storytelling can transcend format. Okay, before we move on, we have to talk about Jose Carlos Montoya from Temptation Island, Spain. His beach dash after witnessing his girlfriend's infidelity. Internet gold.
320 million views can't be wrong. It's sparked memes, it's been shared everywhere, he's gone global.
But it's more than just a spectacle, right? The show's producer, Juan Ramon Gonzalo, talked about Montoya's genuine connection with another contestant, Anita Williams, and her son. It adds this whole other dimension to the story.
Exactly. Reality TV, for all its flaws, can capture these raw, unscripted moments of human emotion, and sometimes those moments resonate far beyond the screen.
It shows that authenticity still has the power to cut through the noise, even in our super-curated online world. Now, for a different kind of drama, let's look at ITVX's new series, A Cruel Love, the Ruth Ellis story.
Lucy Boynton in the lead role. It's a re-examination of Ruth Ellis, the last woman executed in the UK, told from her perspective. They're drawing from Carol Ann Lee's book, A Fine Day for a Hanging, for this one.
Powerful stuff, and with a supporting cast featuring Toby Jones, Laurie Davidson, and Juliette Stevenson, and Lee Haven Jones directing, it's sure to be a must-watch. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about a major shift in Hollywood, the rise of the virtual pitch.
It's the pandemic's lasting impact, wouldn't you say? Even seasoned professionals like Julie Manera, the EP for the Boys, have embraced it. 40 virtual pitches since 2020, and not a single in-person meeting.
Makes you wonder if something's lost in the transition, though. I mean, sure, it's efficient, it's cost-effective, but can a virtual meeting truly capture the energy and nuances of a pitch?
That's the million-dollar question. Some worry that it could lead to a more risk-averse industry. Will studios be less willing to take a chance on those projects that don't have that immediate wow factor on a screen?
Interesting point. Could we see a greater focus on those easily digestible, high-concept ideas at the expense of the more nuanced, more unconventional stories?
I think it's a valid concern. We need to be mindful of how technology, while undoubtedly a powerful tool, might be shaping the stories that get told. Human connection needs to stay at the heart of it all.
Absolutely. Now let's shift our focus to the European film market, or EFM, which is currently underway in Berlin.
The EFM is always a whirlwind of activity. This year's no different. Everyone's buzzing, looking for the next big hit.
It's a treasure hunt for those films that'll grab everyone's attention, the ones that'll be on all the must-watch lists.
You got it. And yeah, there are lots of folks trying to seal deals for finished projects, but there's also that excitement about potential breakouts, like Lena Dunham's romantic comedy, Good Sex with Natalie Portman. That one's creating quite a stir. And then you've got Ke Huy Quan dipping his toes into horror with Bad Boy.
Always fun to see those big names trying new things. And with new leadership at both the Berlinale and the EFM, it'll be interesting to see how their vision shapes things.
Speaking of shifts, there's been some talk at the Berlinale series market about a possible decline in peak TV. Some debate about it, actually.
For those who don't know, peak TV refers to all that rapid growth in television production we've been seeing, especially for streaming services. But now, some folks are saying we've hit a saturation point.
Guy Bisson from Ampere Analysis put it nicely. He said the industry was scaled for 100% peak TV, and it now has to navigate 75%. Basically, things need to adjust. Studios and networks might get a lot pickier about what they greenlight.
So, a shift from quantity to quality, maybe.
It's a real possibility. As the market adjusts, we might see more emphasis on truly standout stories, whether that's originality, emotional depth, or just top-notch production value. Could be a win for viewers, ending up with a more curated, more compelling selection.
Interesting. Berlin's still buzzing, but everyone's attention will soon be on Cannes and Venice.
Ah, the big leagues. Rumor has it that Cannes, May 13th to the 24th, might be the launch pad for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Imagine Tom Cruise on the Croisette.
Oh, the media would go wild. Although I've heard some big titles like Apple's Brad Pitt F1 movie and Warner Bros.' new Superman won't be premiering at Cannes.
Yeah, even without those blockbusters, both Cannes and Venice are still huge for filmmakers, hoping for some awards season recognition. Launching pads for both critical acclaim and commercial success.
Beyond the festivals, what else has caught your eye in film and TV land?
Well, the international adaptation of The Fortune Hotel is going to Sweden thanks to TV4. That premise of competing for a cash prize hidden in a luxury hotel, that'll draw viewers in, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Escapism, competition, dreams of luxury, and sudden riches. It's got it all.
And for those eagerly awaiting Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, the first glimpse of Matt Damon as Odysseus has been making waves online.
Nolan's vision plus Damon's acting? Talk about a cinematic spectacle waiting to happen.
And while we're on the subject of talent, screenwriter Jack Thorne, from his Dark Materials and such, he's been praising Netflix's commitment to accessibility on the set of his new drama, Toxic Town.
It's great to see productions making inclusivity a priority, and progress on accessibility is always a good thing. What's Toxic Town about, by the way?
It's based on real events dealing with environmental injustice, the impact of a chemical factory on communities and families. Thorne's a huge advocate for disabled representation, and he's pointed out how those inclusive practices on set actually benefit everyone, cast and crew alike.
It's great when productions walk the walk and set a good example for the whole industry. Now let's talk about some folks venturing out into the world, literally and figuratively.
Bruce Perry fans rejoice. He's back on BBC Two with a new season of Tribe. He's immersing himself in indigenous communities around the globe, like he does. It's a window into cultures so different from our own, building understanding and appreciation for all those diverse ways of life.
Tribe's a great example of how documentaries can connect us with humanity in all its beauty and complexity.
And for the true crime fans out there, Bossa Nova is taking on a creepy case with the killer clown, Murder on the Doorstep.
Murder mystery with a clown theme. Now that's chillin'.
Right. It's about the 1990 murder of Maureen Warren, her killer. Dressed as a clown, the case was huge, but it's still shrouded in mystery. And get this, Bossa Nova's already pre-sold the series to Sundance Now in the US and Sky for the UK and Germany. People love their true crime, that's for sure.
It seems that fascination with dark and twisty tales is never-ending. Let's turn our attention to those behind-the-scenes players.
Pascal Dalton, formerly of ITV Studios, he's making a splash with his new consultancy, Shimmer Media. He's worked on big formats like Love Island and Big Brother, and now he's using that experience to focus on format development, brand management, and licensing.
He's got clients like All3 Media International, Hidalgo Productions, and Infiox Studios. Clearly a go-to expert in the entertainment format world.
Speaking of big players, Amazon MGM Studios has snagged a deal with Dallas Jenkins, the creator of that hugely popular faith-based series, The Chosen.
The Chosen's been a massive success in theaters and on streaming. This move just goes to show that Amazon's still keen on investing in content, that appeals to a faith-based audience.
It proves that stories that resonate with specific communities, that speak to their values, those stories have power. And in a move that's making headlines, sports streaming giant DAZN has partnered with Saudi Arabia's ERJ for a minority stake deal.
Saudi Arabia is making its presence known in the sports media world.
This deal's likely to boost DAVN's global reach, especially for football and combat sports, could reshape sports broadcasting as we know it. It shows that the entertainment industry is a global web, constantly forging new connections and looking for new ways to grow.
Back to the European film market now. There's one film creating a lot of buzz, The Tasters, a German-language drama by Italian director Silvio Soldini.
It's based on Rosella Postorino's best-selling novel, At the Wolf's Table. Tells the story of those women forced to be Adolf Hitler's food tasters in World War II. It's about survival, resilience in the face of just horrific circumstances.
The film's already snagged distribution deals in Latin America, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, Bulgaria, Israel, Greece, and the former Yugoslavia. Clearly, it's got a lot of appeal.
And it's set to premiere next month at Italy's Bari International Film Festival for those who can't wait to see it.
More anticipated releases. Sony Pictures Classic has picked up Jodie Foster's latest project, The Murder Mystery Vie Privée.
Directed by Olivier Assayas, it's being billed as a super stylish, suspenseful noir thriller set in Paris. Foster's talent, Assayas' unique style, that's a winning combination.
People just love their murder mysteries, unraveling secrets, peeking into the darker side of human nature. It's a genre that never gets old.
You're right about that. And on a lighter note, BBC Comedy is launching a fantastic initiative to support the next generation of Scottish comedy creators.
Wonderful news. What's the initiative all about?
They're putting development producers with established production companies, places like Merman, in the comedy unit. Hands-on experience, mentorship, all geared towards nurturing new comedic talent.
A great way to encourage creativity and bring fresh perspectives to the comedy scene. What else is exciting from the Berlinale series market?
Fernando Meirelles, the director of City of God, and he's working on a series called Miami Wildlife. It's about a drug lord, but not your typical one.
Unconventional drug lord. Now that's a hook. What makes this one so different?
That's still under wraps, but with Meirelles at the helm, I'm expecting something visually stunning and thought-provoking. It's a Brazil-USA co-production, so it'll be interesting to see how those cultural influences play out.
Speaking of unique styles, Alex de la Iglesia, known for his dark comedies and surreal films, he's showcasing Sanctuary.
Set in a post-climate disaster future, pregnant women are kept safe in protective domes. Visually, it's going to be incredible, and thematically, it's going to push boundaries. It's a team effort from Atlas Media TV and Pepsi Films, and knowing De La Iglesia, it's going to be one wild ride.
Sounds like a thought-provoking take on our current anxieties, all wrapped up in a visually stunning package.
And Masha Jewel Larsen, the creator of that amazing political drama Borgen, is back with The Best of Families, a Danish drama about a chemical factory and its impact on families and the environment back in the 1950s.
With all the focus on environmental issues and their impact on communities these days, that seems especially timely.
It's from Apple Tree Productions. Expect a gripping story with Larsen's signature complex characters and thought-provoking themes. This Berlinale series market really showcases the diversity of global storytelling. Dystopian futures, historical dramas, comedies, crime thrillers, you name it.
It proves the power of film and television to transport us, show us new perspectives, and make us think about the big issues. Sometimes success comes from unexpected places, like with Netflix Australia's acquisition of that Kiwi teen dramedy N0B.
The show's all about a group of high school gamers figuring out life and competition, and it went viral on TikTok. Proof that TikTok can launch a series into the spotlight.
It goes to show that audiences are craving those authentic stories, those fresh voices, no matter where they come from. Now, speaking of returning favorites, German broadcaster ZDF has renewed the popular dance drama Coup d'Am 77 for another season.
The series, set in a Berlin dance school back in the late 1970s, has really resonated with audiences. That mix of drama, music, and historical intrigue, the Schulich family navigating societal expectations and personal struggles against a backdrop of social change, it just works.
Period dramas never really go out of style, do they? Especially when they explore those timeless themes that are still relevant today. Family dynamics, social change, the pursuit of dreams. It's something we can all relate to. Wow. From reality TV drama to the world of high-stakes political dramas, we've certainly covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the global entertainment scene.
It's amazing to see how all these stories, as different as they seem, show us those common threads running through the industry. The struggle for funding, finding that audience, adapting to all this new technology. These challenges and opportunities, they connect creators and industries all over the world.
It's like watching a global conversation unfold, with each story adding its own unique perspective.
Exactly, and it's a conversation that never stops evolving. We see it in those international co-productions, the growing power of streaming, and how social media is changing the way we discover and consume content.
Before we wrap up, any key takeaways that stand out to you from all this?
One thing that really strikes me is that tension between global reach and staying true to those local stories. Take Weiss Morales, blending Spanish and German cultures. That's a great example. But then you have Black Box Diaries, dealing with sensitive issues within a very specific cultural context. It faces those hurdles.
It's a tough balance. Creators want to connect with a global audience, but also stay true to their own unique experiences and perspectives.
And that brings up some interesting questions about the future of storytelling. Will we see even more cross-cultural collaborations? Will streaming continue to dominate? Or will those traditional broadcasters find new ways to adapt and thrive?
And maybe the biggest question of all, how will all this change the stories we see, the voices that get heard?
Plenty to think about as we navigate this ever-changing landscape. It's a thrilling time to be involved in the global entertainment industry. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Think about your own role in all this. What kind of stories grab you? Where do you find new films and shows? How do you engage with them beyond just watching? We're all part of this conversation, and our choices as viewers shape the future of entertainment.
Great point. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of a good story.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of international entertainment.
Until next time.